Welcome back to Minus 16, the podcast you look forward to every fortnight where we talk about tech and the business of YouTube. And boy, is there a lot to talk about when it comes to YouTube at the moment. Spicy hour ahead of us. Chaps, how you been? How you been?
I look like I feel. You can tell.
I was just talking to Daniel before you joined on. Same as, outside this, I've got another business, and there's one big event happening near me at Hampton Court Palace, and I do a lot of work for that. A whole load of cars from around the world coming, and it's trying to do, as soon as I finish this, I'm back into doing that work and then trying to find time to edit the podcast. And yeah, so coffee is the answer.
Exactly. 100% caffeine is life.
I feel good.
Hey,
I feel great.
Is the cough gone now? Are you feeling all healthy?
The cough is still lingering.
Yeah.
But it's like on its way
sound
out.
better.
I'm definitely feeling a bit more energetic, more peppy. I'm very busy.
We need you peppy.
We
need you peppy.
I've been coaching my son's football team at carnivals and got a wedding on tomorrow night. So it's like the social calendar is full.
I can't remember last time my social calendar was full. I just think because nobody likes me that much, I don't get invited to anything, so it's fine. I just get to sit at home a lot.
We like you.
Hey, that's all that matters. I've got two people that like me in the world, and I'm happy that they happen to share my same passions as well. I say like, tolerate. I'm going to wheel it back in a little bit. So, let's start off then with me going quiet and you two boys chatting over how you've been finding things Samsung-wise. Because obviously when we last recorded, you were just getting your hands on the products. Since then, you've both had your chance to really get in the weeds with it and find out your goods, your bads, pros and cons. So where should we start? Maybe should we start with a fold? Is somebody liking a foldable?
Why not?
Yes.
I finally got sent the loan unit from Samsung. It's not my final one. They are sending out another one. But just for the purposes of getting something out to me, they got me a pink fold. And I'm very enamored with it. That's a good word. I think it's just incredible. I think the design changes, while subtle, have actually made such a big difference in how I use it. Like the cover screen being that fraction wider has definitely made it feel more like a smartphone on the front.
It's more usable, isn't it? Yeah.
It's definitely more usable, but I don't think it needs to be too much wider. I think if anything, they could shrink the bezels and make the screen bigger without making the phone bigger. But that's nitpicky. I think what they've created here is a very, very nice, functional foldable. I'm very happy with it.
I took it to the beach, and it's one of those scary moments, right? Because you put it in your pocket. Even if you try to avoid it, you get a little bit of sand. And I know it's got the IP68 rating and all of that, but when I opened it, there's a little bit of dust in there and grains of sand, but honestly, it hasn't done anything. You know, I spent about a week at the beach doing that every day, no problem.
I remember the fold last year. I brought it to the beach and had some crunchiness in the hinge, but after a while, that crunchiness went away and the hinge went back to normal. Like that was
I didn't get to experience that at all. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, I'm talking about being hands-on, but from what I can see from both of your phones, they look quite thick chaps. Are they awkward when you carry them around, or?
Yeah, mine's got case on, so it looks thicker. It is thicker than usual.
Absolutely.
Go on.
No, I was saying, what Alex was about to say is, it's definitely thicker than a normal phone, but because it's narrow across this way, I think that kind of makes up for it. Because if it was thick and wide, I think you'd have a very, very big phone on your head, and tall. If it was any taller as well, I think creating it in this way, it's actually, considering what it does, like when it's unfolded, it's quite thin, like it's thin like a tablet. So it's much more what we're used to. But yeah, folded, of course, it's definitely thicker.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's how much? It's going to be my main phone, I feel, for a while anyway. Because
it's that good.
Yeah.
It's probably telling something about the S24 Ultra experience as well. But yeah, from a battery perspective, I don't know what it is. It's just, for me, it hasn't been great. And there's one thing that I will try before I do that, which is just blast it from start and not do any smart switching to transfer data. But it's just a pain, right? It takes a full day to do it, with your bank stuff and your authenticators and all of that stuff, it takes time.
Mm. So my gathering then, and Daniel didn't jump in and sort of say, no. The S24 Ultra has got some known. I know you both said it's not quite. S23 Ultra is kind of like pinnacle from what I can gather. It's been the best there's ever been. Where's the S24 falling short then?
For me, it's battery.
There's like the battery wasn't quite the same because it's weird. Like we said a couple weeks ago, it is in pretty much every department better. Like it's a better display, it's more refined design. Mm-hmm. Some would argue it's not a better design, but depends on who you ask. But like the display is obviously far better. The Snapdragon 8 for Galaxy is far more powerful than the S23 Ultra. The 5x telephoto is much more useful and offers a bit more usability for people in that 0 to 10. But there's something missing. And I think maybe the battery or that feeling of this phone just will not die that the S23 Ultra had, that maybe falls the S23 Ultra short, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. The display is the only thing that's keeping me, like, is still enjoying it. Yeah. But yeah, the battery is a pain. And, we'll talk about the watch in a minute, but it's a similar story there for me.
So the if you're thinking of going full fold then, presumably the cameras are good?
Good enough, I would say.
Good enough, yeah. I think I made a video last week, or this week, Sunday, about comparing the two phones and how you probably can't compare them because a lot of people like to compare the outputs of the Fold to the Ultra. But I think what a lot of potentially miss, and Alex, yours didn't miss when I watched yours, was that people don't necessarily compare the functionality of the Fold's cameras and how you can use it as a content machine anywhere you go. And like with the S23 Ultra,
the fact that you can watch content as well in this little L-shaped X mode is such an, not many people talk. I mean, I know you talk about it, Daniel, but it's such an underrated feature because I have those magnet things, those little stands, everywhere, but every now and then you forget about this stuff, and it comes in so clutch when you like at the table and you're just eating, for example, and you just want to watch a quick video or something. And you put it in this mode instead of trying to find something to
lean against. Yeah.
It's the best.
But also to record stuff. I took it to the beach, like I said, and it's probably why I got a little bit of sand in there as well. But I was doing this wave shot where I didn't mind getting the wave into the phone. So I wanted the splash to get into the camera. So I just put it in an L shape without any tripod or anything, just let it do its thing. And it did exactly what I wanted it to do, without me having to hold the phone, right? I think that's that functionality aspect, the way the form factor can be used, not just as a way to open and make it bigger, but also to use it in that flex mode is really, really cool.
The brief time I had with the Flip last year, I mean, that being able to do that and frame yourself up and exactly that I did like. I mean, although I don't really count myself as a foldable fan, that one aspect of it, from what we do, I actually really do like.
I don't travel anywhere now without this. This sits in my bag or in my second pocket because if I need to capture like me typing on a keyboard or if I need to, like when I went to Sydney last week for a Samsung event, I was working in the lounge and making a video about Samsung decks and I just captured everything with this. Like in this aspect.
I think that's the thing that the Flip 5 missed. And I think I mentioned it when I reviewed your Flip 5, David, which was the camera was just not good enough. If the camera, the main camera was good enough, I could see myself using it for those moments, like capturing quick vlog style photos or videos. But yeah, it was a bit too either overexposed or not high def enough. It just wasn't really. I mean, now it's 4K 60, right? You can get decent 4K 60.
Yeah, Flip 6 is the same camera that's on the Fold 6, so it's going to be. So it's definitely will upgrade a lot.
Yeah. I know I said it last time, and I'll stand by it. That the Folds the Flip actually this year, I mean, is just getting a lot more attention. People seem a lot more open to it this year than last year. I know they're still not big unit sellers and so on, but people are using them. I've even seen a couple when I was in London yesterday, people getting Flips out. They just seem like they're that much more becoming, they're never going to be mainstream, but more usable.
Every Olympian got one.
Yeah, that helps.
Every Olympian got one. And they were all taking selfies on the podium with it.
Yeah, well, that's a great bit of product. That was very sassy marketing, wasn't it, by Samsung to do that?
Some of them ended up on eBay, but we won't talk about that.
Hey, who wouldn't do that, right? Who wouldn't do that? So from what you were absolutely. So from what you were both saying, then watches. There are some issues with the watches too. Am I thinking?
Battery life.
There's good and bad, right? There's good and bad for me. I think I've been wearing it pretty much since launch. I was able to get it quite early. I ordered it whilst I was at the Unpacked stream, and I got it really quickly. So for working out, it's good for running, but in some aspects, it's not good for running. It depends how you run and how you manage your workout. If you don't look at the watch to check your heart rate every now and then, or to check whatever, if you just literally do the run to record the session, and then you go into the app to see how you did it, whatever, that's probably is going to do everything you want it to. But there are things like, even it resets itself from kilometers to miles for me for some unknown reason. It doesn't accurately reflect. For example, if you're doing this is in a different sort of workout, like a weightlifting workout, you can set very specific type of workout. You can go like bench press or even like other types of equipment.
Oh, really? Drill down
to the equipment level. Yeah. Then you will say, okay, when you in the position that he expects you to be, it will start the countdown to the exercise. But it doesn't then automatically pause it. You have to remember to pause it. It's trying to do, I think, what Garmin does in that aspect, which is the automatic recognition workout is really good. But it's going into maybe trying to be too friendly to users. And like the voice, there's a voice reminder. So, right, you've done 10 reps, rest. So that's cool. But then, if you go to get some water, for example, in between reps, in between sets, it will still count as reps sometimes. And when you go to the next one, it will go, right, you've done 15 now. So hang on, I've only finished 10. Where did you get 5 extra reps from? So yeah, it's a little bit iffy there. Exactly. Pausing the workout is an important one for me. Pausing the run, for example, to kind of say, right, I'm just going to pause and say, take a photo or whatever, or maybe just catch a breather. It's just not friendly, to have to swipe it, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes you swipe and you get a different thing.
Have you got the auto pause turned on?
Which one? Auto pause. Yeah. So auto start and auto pause is So I tried yesterday actually to say, right, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go for a run and not do anything. See if it picks up. So the ring seems to pick up. Yeah. I played around with that. So yesterday it did this weird thing where it took a kilometer to realize, okay, you've been out. It said I've been out for a walk, and I was like, come on, man, I'm killing myself here. But I wonder if that was the ring doing it, because I had both at the same time. So they do interact. I don't know. It hasn't been great. But those things can all be fixed, and there are a few suggestions that I'm going to mention in my video. But the main one for me is a convenience with the battery. For me, it's almost like once you've experienced something that is so much better, it's so hard to go. It's why I haven't gone back to the Apple Watch Ultra. Once I've experienced the Garmin battery, it's like, nothing comes close.
So for context, when you're both talking about the battery not being as good as you were hoping, where are we talking? Day and a half?
For 2 days? Like a day.
So very much Apple Watch. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at the Apple Watch. My Apple Watch 8 I've got,
You have to charge every other day. If you're very active, it is literally every day. But
I've been running not an experiment, but I've got a video plan where I compare the Pro to the Classic to the Ultra, just to see where the variances lie in the hardware, the design, the software. And what I've noticed, I started with the Watch 5 Pro, so this has been the first one that I've worn in the test, and I'm running it until the battery dies. This is after its factory reset. I've done like 2 software updates, and it's not even really calibrated to my usage yet because of the factory reset. But it has been off charge for 2 days and 9 hours, and it's got 5.5 hours left with 8%. So that's roughly going to be close to 2.5, almost 3 days of usage.
Yeah,
Two full sleep tracking cycles. Gone to the gym a few times. Had it disconnected from my phone while I'm out. Location tracking, all that sort of stuff. The Watch Ultra, which I've been wearing for the last 2 weeks, 36 hours. Like probably not even half of what I've been getting, what I got on this, which is with the same size battery. I think the difference is it's got a bigger screen. So it's a brighter display. So
it's an OLED screen on that.
They're all OLED. It's just got a 3,000 nits brightness versus 2,000.
Right.
So the brightness is brighter, screen's bigger, so they're pushing more pixels, and the processor is more powerful. So it's just drawing and using more energy with the same size battery.
Yeah.
And this is
that's going to be
doing better.
That was going to be one of my suggestions, and I think we mentioned this before here, which is, it's doing a lot. And, when you call something an Ultra, you expect to have all of those features, but not everyone wants all those features every single day. So there will be days where you want to focus on fitness tracking. Other days you might go, actually, I want to focus on my sleep tracking, or do both, but maybe not every single thing that is got in here. I think it ultimately needs to be smarter, I think. Then that's the title of my video, basically. It's not smart enough.
Just for getting back to
first a smartwatch, so it should be, with all the Galaxy AI, the new processor that's got in here, we should be able to like customize more how we use it to save more battery. Then
I want to get back to metrics in just a second, but talking about odd messages on the phone, as I say, I've got the Apple Watch 8, and I'm getting this really. I need to look into it because it's so. You mentioned a minute ago in your workouts, Alex. I get up and go out for this cardio session in the morning, like sort of 7-ish. I'm normally out the door doing some stuff. 8 o'clock, I get a message on my phone. It looks like you're awake, which I find the most insulting message going. I've been out trying to do what I think is a ridiculously intense workout.
For an hour.
Yeah, and I've been back and done a workout on Apple TV as well, a fitness workout, and it's now saying, it looks like you're awake. And I'm thinking, you facetious little git. Yes, I'm awake. I've been trying to do what I can do. So I don't know why. And it's only started in the last few months. I get this notification out of nowhere. Start your day.
The one I hate the most, and this is probably only going to, not many people will recognize this, but it's if you use like a standing desk setup with the Apple Watch Ultra, even though you're standing, it will say that you've been sat for an hour. It's like, come on, man. It's like, what are you doing? I'm up. But because your hand is in an L shape position, it thinks you're sat down.
There was another podcast. Yes, I do occasionally listen to other podcasts, and they were talking about one of the Google watches, and it was quite an alarming message. This was to a woman, and it said, "We've noticed your activity levels have been down over the last 48 hours. This could lead to serious weight gain." I know, it's like, whoa, she was like, she was not happy. That's quite an intense message to be told, isn't it? This could lead to serious weight gain. Yeah, I know.
I do
ongoing
like
eating disorders
because it's very black and white, especially during a workout. There's no sugar coating. It's like last session you were better than this. Come on. It does push you in a way that like a coach would, rather than giving you this colorful little rings that will tell you, oh yeah, you're doing great. Some people set the calories like to 500, for example. It's like, yeah, you did great today. You burned 600 calories. Like, yeah, but you also weigh 2,500.
So I said I wanted to talk metrics. I don't know if I'm the odd one out here. We'll soon find out. How often, say sleep tracking, you both mentioned it a moment ago. How often do you go into the metrics on the app and have a look at your sleep? I mean, don't you kind of know if you've slept well or slept crap? Or is that me?
I look at it. I've been snoring a bit, self-confessing, and I just check my blood oxygen through the night just to make sure that it's all good.
No sleep apnea or whatever.
Yeah, it looks like it's fine. But I just make sure to check as well my sleep score and the stages of sleep. I do try and just monitor it just to make sure.
Okay.
Like, yes, obviously, you wake up feeling awful, or like all good or not good, whatever it might be. If you're awake during the night, you do kind of have that. But I just like to stay on top of it. It's sort of interesting to see. Like, it's just an interesting thing to see.
Me too, well. Yeah. I'm fascinated by it. I've always been, since the Fitbit, when that came out, I've always been fascinated by it because my sleep it's not that regular. There are times during the year where, I can be regular and I get enough sleep. But right now, for example, it's just all over the place. And, with there's so many things that impact your sleep and, how you ate, how much you exercised, the time of the year, of course, with light coming in, light itself, how much light you've been exposed to, how much caffeine you drank. There's so much things that I think looking at the data helps you at least, correct, that one, I feel good. And let's see what did I do, sleep-wise that made me feel. Is it the temperature? Is it the fact that I didn't eat crap, late last night? So yeah, there's a lot of things that you will yourself learn. I mean, you probably know deep down, why you feel like crap today. Yeah.
Samsung have got in Samsung Health like a sleep coaching program where you can actually.
Yeah. Which one are you? Which animal are you?
I'm the deer. I'm the deer.
I'm a sleep lion, apparently.
You're a sleep lion.
Well, I think
it analyzes your sleep and then creates like a 3-week program of like things you can do to improve it, like get your bed time ready routine earlier or something like that. And,
that's the softy approach that cool. I'm not that keen on. It's cool, but
you like hard love?
Actually, on sleep tracking, there's one thing that I think Samsung should do like tomorrow if they can, because it's such an easy thing, but a valuable one. Which was for me, I like the fact that you can go into the app when you've got time. You can go and like deep down and look into the data. But I love the Garmin that when you woke up, like your Apple Watch is trying to tell you, immediately the first thing it showed on the watch. The thing is, it's a monstrosity to sleep with, right? So it's like a massive thing on your wrist. But when you woke up and you first look at the watch, it will show you a morning report, and then you scroll down through the windows. It's very simple. It's literally a swipe down, and it will show you your sleep stages, all the different things. But not when you wake up. It's not the first thing. At the moment, when I look at my watch, it tells me to unlock it first. It's like, come on. And then, anyway.
And the data you're getting,
nice, if that's in there, then I need to turn it on because it's
I'll find it. Because I remember getting training on it years ago, something called morning report, like something along those lines, like a morning sort of report. That you
I love that because then you don't need to look at the app, right? It's just there and
I'm just waiting for 2 weeks' time when that's Daniel's video. How to find a setting.
Well, I am planning
notes being made.
I am planning a Samsung Health video, so that will definitely be part of it. Absolutely.
I'm going to hold off on selling on eBay until you do your video then.
And you're wearing the ring as well, right, Alex?
It's not looking good for me.
You've got the ring as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Alex,
the ring I love. And I've done my review a few days ago. Yeah, this I love.
And where did your sleep data, for instance, where's it pulling it from? The ring or the watch? And are they the same?
Both.
So
the watch has more sensors, so it will pick up other things. But the ring only does, I think obviously heartbeat, and I think it does oxygen as well. I'm not sure, but it doesn't do all the things. So the watch will work, to get more data. So I mean, to get the best data, you sleep with both, which I'm not keen on. Some days I just sleep with a ring because that is the most comfortable thing to do, really.
And a couple of things kind of just outside of this, before we're going to talk a little bit about Pixel in a moment, tiny little bit of Apple news. For those people, and I'm going to set myself up for fraud here, I know, and we talked about this just before recording, my M4 Apple Silicon iPad is resplendent in front of me. Who says that $2,500 is a waste of money when you can sidecar the whole Riverside session to it so I can sit looking at the camera and not over at the Mac? I think it is money well spent.
I feel
totally vindicated and justified now.
Yes.
Yeah. I was suddenly thinking last night, I can set up the sidecar session and do it, and it's working a dream. So with that, until it obviously packs up in a moment. And yesterday I was up at an Apple event as well. I got invited to Apple Brompton Road, which we walked past actually, Daniel, when we met. No, we didn't. No, it's just before I saw you. But it's that neck of the woods in London. And it was all about spatial video and Vision Pro and trying to think of ways forward for business and enterprise. And it wasn't actually that interesting, if I'm being honest. But the only bit that kind of interests me was they were talking about Abbey Road, the recording studios in London where the Beatles recorded, blah, 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 blah. Still a very active studio now. They're talking about trying to use Vision Pro for remote sessions. So the idea being that somebody could be in LA, New York, Australia, whatever, wear the Vision Pro and actually see hands on the desk what the engineer is doing, so they can make sort of macro adjustments to the session remotely and also through
like
spatial
the
audio.
Microsoft HoloLens.
What's that then?
10 years ago. No.
Oh, really? It's been done it before.
Was it HoloLens? It was called HoloLens, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was the one.
Yeah, that was exactly the main use case for it, like engineering and 3D modeling and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about that being a possibility for it. And that was really the only big carry away from the session. It was a nice, tidy, tight hour. They shut the shop down for an hour before it opened. So I had to be in London bright and early by 9 yesterday morning. It was okay. And it's one of those events, you go along, you meet, you chat, and you see a few things. You never know where it's going to lead to. But the actual event was all about Vision Pro. And there was one company there who had actually bought 4 of them. And I think that's the only 4 that have been sold in the UK from I can currently work out.
There's so many. One use case, and I think I mentioned this when the Apple glasses was rumored. This is like 3-4 years ago probably. But one of the use cases I remember mentioning was, imagine a doctor or something like that is so good in his field that he can't be everywhere, right? So he's a specialist and the whole world needs him. But rather than traveling somewhere, he can be there in the room. It might be a brain surgeon or whatever, just providing consultancy through what he's seeing remotely. So yeah, that's a huge use case for medicine and healthcare in general. But yeah, engineering, things where someone is so like a specialist, but can't be in multiple places at once, right? So that's a great use case.
You can broaden it out, and I wanted to say this the other day, but I forgot about it. Real estate. Like if you're a real estate company wanting to sell properties from the other side of the world, that sort of concept of VR can allow people to step into the house or the property without actually physically being there.
Yeah.
This is where I think Vision Pro has a segment, is enterprise. 100%. It's better built for that.
I tell you what, that is such that's a huge one. I used to work for a global real estate company, and their headquarters was in Dallas, but they had a massive one in LA. And I remember we built this 360 screen with Google Earth. There's a video of it somewhere. I'll find it. But it was exactly that. It's like you can't go to Tokyo and London and Sao Paulo or whatever in an hour. But if you come to this place, and be in this immersive room, and at the time it was literally just curved screens, like a 360 setup. And yeah, you could use your mouse to kind of navigate through Google Earth and embedded with things like overlays of data, which for me is the one thing that I was like, we need to get to that point quickly. Something that I can wear that will show that mixed reality. So I can look at something and it will show me, for example, I don't know, the price of something, or will show me how many units are available, or seats available, or things that mix the real world with a virtual.
I kind of think
there's the
No, I kind of think when they released this version 1, with the price point alone, I'm sure they knew that it was not going to be a runaway success. And I think also part of that is they need to test the waters and see if our habits change and how we want to work is going to change in time. It's so early on, it's possibly not, it could be another 10, 15 years before this begins.
I think they can do, they probably purposely, knowing Apple, right? And this is just completely speculation here, but there's a part of me that thinks they know exactly what the end game is, but they don't want to get us there because obviously they want to sell units eventually. So I buy the fact that yes, version 1, yes, it's the first one in the world that can do what it can do. But I don't know. It feels to me that we waited so long. It's like why go back to 2015? Because if you look at what Google Glasses did and what HoloLens was doing, it's not that different. When you mix those two together, you probably get.
Sorry, Samsung's VR was in 2014. Like that was when Oculus and Samsung teamed up and brought out the Gear VR alongside the Note 4, and that was 10 years ago. The thing is, like, you can look to the past to see where this thing could go.
Yeah.
But
just pick it up from where it was left off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 100% Apple, to your point, Alex, they got an end game. They got a long game. And that, I think, is borne out by spatial audio. a few years ago, it was, why is spatial audio so important to him? Why are they pushing? And suddenly, 4 years down the line, Vision Pro, that's why spatial audio is so important.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you know, they knew exactly. Yeah. So I think that's probably the case here as well. It's like, yes, we could overlay I mean, they've got so much data, right? They know everything, especially if I'm not talking about third-party data, just the data they know about ourselves. Yeah, I'd like to see that, you know, like a heads-up display that shows me my environment, shows me maps, and shows things that are not like an overlay, but more like a subtle merge with the real world. And I mean, they're getting there, but it's just, oh my gosh, so slow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I mean, there's this room of the next, or there being a lower price point for the next Vision Pro, and it's going to be more affordable, which then obviously does open it out. But again, this whole thing of them working in the future, we're meant to be getting this capture button on the iPhone 16, and I think a lot of that is to force us to be shooting more in landscape, ready for spatial video. They want us to go back more than vertical shooting to portrait shooting, so you've got more videos on your phone ready to go into spatial.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I hate vertical stuff. We don't see it that way, right? But yeah, I think I remember reading this book. I think it's called Damon or something. There was a sequel to it as well, I think. But yeah, in that book, they mentioned a few things in that that's like, come on, we must be able to do this now, because it was sci-fi, but actually a lot of it is, you know, we're close to that reality. And the main thing that I wanted was having a gamification of life. You know, sometimes you might want to play a game without having to actually stop what you're doing and play a game. So for example, it might be in the real world, but if you see someone who's playing the same game as you can look at them, and if they're wearing the same gear, right, the Apple Vision Pro, you can look at them and you see their ranking, you can see their points, you can see their credits, you can see how much they do, you know, and in a game sort of fun sort of way, merging without you having to stop what you're doing. And you know, I really want to see something like that where, you know, it's a little bit more integrated, and you know, we can't be that far from it.
The one big win for me when I went for that demo was and I'm not trying to sound like I'm sort of marketing sheep for Apple here, but it was the memories, the photos and the videos, particularly, you know, you've both got younger kids, the reality of those. I mean, you know, for instance, I said I lost both my parents, and if I had some sort of spatial video where it was so incredibly lifelike, I can't begin to describe to you. I know you've both done some AR and VR. So yeah, I was fresh to the party. It was the first time I'd worn a headset, but the quality of those images and the video was just so tantalizingly real. You feel that you can hold on to those memories so much easier. I think that could be a win for them. That, again, that's a lifestyle thing, because that's bringing your kids, you know, keeping those memories of your kids forever and ever and ever at that moment in time. So
yeah, there's definitely a big part of that, right? I didn't like the fact that they showed the parent recording it wearing the thing, like putting that in between you and the child. I don't think is the right thing, but obviously recording with the phone, you know, especially when they're really young, they're not even noticing it, right? But I do see a huge part. I mean, I go back to those earlier photos of my kid, right? Just to so being able to do that later in a much more real, be awesome.
Lots of short clips of the kids smiling for a couple of seconds and then stopping because they're chucking a tantrum. So I can't wait to revisit those.
Yeah, lots of the bad voice of the father in the background. Would you just do it once that I asked you to do? Yeah. So going back to the Pixel event, which we haven't touched on yet, obviously that launched this week. A couple of things to go on there. I know, Daniel, you've been out and actually had a look at one of the Pixel Folds. And Alex, I think
the XL as well.
Yeah. And because that's right, they got the larger Pro XL, whatever they're calling it, haven't they now? And Alex, you're saying that you're not getting one this year.
No.
And I did have a Pixel 8 last year.
I did. I got the 7, the 6 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used the 8 for time.
I love Pixels. Yeah. I love Pixels. Yeah. I mean, as you know, right, because I think you borrowed my one.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I borrowed your 7. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, let's talk for Daniel. First of all, you sort of actually seen one then. So compared to your Fave phone of the moment, your Samsung Fold, how's it standing up? What are the comparisons? Be as unbiased as possible. Go on, be factual.
Oh dear, unbiased. What's that? So I think I should preface this by saying it was in a locked cupboard JB Hi-Fi hadn't put it on display yet, so they gave it to me for all of 20 seconds. But I knew everything I needed to know about it, I gained from that 20 seconds because it was a very big phone. That was much, much wider than the Fold 6. Not just the screen was wider, but the phone itself, like the hinge and the bezel area next to the hinge adds an extra 3 or 4 millimeters on the edge of it compared to what the screen does already, which makes it such an unwieldy phone when closed. And the whole purpose, I believe, of Fold, or Samsung's vision, I should say, is one-handed, easy to operate when closed, then you open it up to the tablet. Google have got this really tall phone, really wide phone, and then you unfold it, and it's almost like in a 16:9 aspect ratio when unfolded. So it's like a entertainment tablet, which, you know, for a tablet, when you're putting it into a bag or something, is great. But I think for a foldable, it makes a little bit less sense because the productivity aspect gets lost a little bit with that aspect ratio. And it's just, I don't know, it's got big, thick bezels around the outside. Not as bad as what the first generation Pixel Fold had, but I just didn't, and the camera bump, ugly. Like,
yeah, that's completely.
Why don't we do
butchered it.
Why don't we do a fun little game here for our viewers? Because judging by my comment section, I think I only mentioned in passing the Pixel Pro, the Pixel Fold. But the consensus seems to be there's a lot of Chinese brands, not just Google, but there's so many like Xiaomi, Honor, Chinese brands bringing foldables. The Honor foldable are so thin and they look really elegant as well. So Oppo. So it'd be good to kind of see what the consensus is here with our audience. You know, do they prefer that narrow form factor that like the Fold has, which is, like Daniel said, you know, easy access, low distraction to kind of, you know, access it. But when you do want to, you know, be more immersed, you open it and then you've got a little mini tablet in your hands. Or do you prefer like a normal, like the Pixel Fold? Is that what they call it? Or is it some Pro XL or whatever?
Pixel 9 Pro Fold.
They're taking lessons from Sony, aren't they?
Yeah, 9 Pro Fold with that larger front display, because, you know, the argument there is, yeah, you just get more out of a normal sized phone. And then if you open it, then you get that even better entertainment.
Tablet experience.
I think it's going to be 50-50, but I'm curious to know. So yeah, leave. I don't know if we'll do an emoji game or just say what you prefer.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, comments.
I think if the Pixel Pro Fold, God, it's a terrible name. If the bezel on the hinge was as slim as the hinge on here, like, look it up. We'll get some photos put up either side. David, that's for your editing later.
Yeah.
If we get some photos, I'll put up either side, right, of the Pixel Fold, the 9 Pro Fold, and the Samsung Fold. You'll see how much less this part is next to the screen and where the hinge is. If they shrunk that down and brought that straight, then I would probably have less of a problem with that.
So it's a bit of an ugly looking phone then.
It's just ugly, yeah. And they've gone for a really heavy curved radius with the screen as well. It's heavily curved on the corners, but it's boxy where the hinge is. Like, it doesn't look good. I don't like the aesthetics of it. So, and Marquez put up a tweet saying that he prefers the Pixel Fold over the Fold 6. He said because of the cover screen. I just think if you're judging a foldable on the cover screen, you're missing the point of a foldable. Just use a normal smartphone. Just look at your normal smartphone. That's all you need to use.
Because I was going to say, those cover screens on your Folds they're fully functional, yeah? They're not just a cover screen. It's like using a slab phone.
Yeah. It's pretty much
it's
just a bit narrower and a bit taller. With the
that's what I mean. It's not just, you know, for use of catching up on messages. It is a full functional.
And it's a good quality screen as well. I think, Daniel, you mentioned this to me separately, but yeah, it's a shame that they haven't used the same display that we've got on the S24 Ultra on that front, on like the anti-reflective coating. But it's a lovely screen to use. And I find myself even doing things that you shouldn't really be doing on this narrow screen, but I'm like responding to an email that's maybe 2-3 paragraphs long. I found myself like, what am I doing? Just open it. But I do think that when I open it, I'm so much more tempted to then play a game or watch a video. You know, it's dangerous because
it's
such a lovely.
Move, right?
Yeah. Oh, so when you open it, you're going into a different kind of aspect of how you're going to be using that device then. That's fine. So, it's a very kind of, if you're opening it, you're going into a different sort of space of using that tablet or device, that foldable at that point.
And I think when you use a foldable over like longer than 2 weeks to make a YouTube review, as Marquez has done or does, you understand the nuances of that. You know what your cover screen is for, and you know what that inner screen is for, and you kind of get an understanding of what you use which display for. If you do want to browse YouTube to find a video, then you just use the cover screen. But if you're ready to watch and settle in, unfold it, and you've got this big canvas to enjoy it on. Or if you're going to be doing some multitasking.
Here's the thing that the thing that I really like about Pixels in general is the camera. So if I was to compare those two foldables, that'll be my first go-to comparison. And I have a feeling, I haven't seen the Google announcements. I haven't seen any reviews about the Fold, the Pixel Fold 9 Pro Fold. But that would be my guess, that the camera on that would be, maybe not even the specs, but how Google processes the images. My guess is that it would be better than the Fold.
On paper, their cameras aren't great. Like the main cameras are 1 in 2 inch size, whereas the Fold 6 I think is 1 in 1.56, so it's a bigger sensor. So I think Google have kind of nerfed the camera a little bit on the Fold compared to the 9 Pro XL, which is understandable. Samsung have done the same thing with the S24 Ultra and the Fold 6.
What's the aperture on those? On the Fold, on 9 Pro Fold,
1.8, I think it is. Same as the
1.8.
Fold 6.
Okay, that's not bad.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure it's 1.8. But they've got a 5 times telephoto, 10.5 megapixel 5x, which is probably the slight advantage. But again, it's for me, a Fold isn't about the cameras. It's about how you use them and what you can do with them versus the pure output alone.
Yeah, I guess it's almost trying to make you're getting the best of both kind of worlds, aren't you? You've got a productivity device that you can actually open up meaningfully, use a large screen, work on, write on, whatever. But then equally, you've got decent enough cameras. We said at the start of the pod that you're not struggling to get good images, good videos. Yeah, there's going to be slight trades.
I do miss the zoom. I do miss the zoom every now and then, but it's one of those things, like on the beach, I was like, my son was doing like a surfing lesson, and I had the Fold, and it's like, the 5X would be nice here. Even obviously the 10X would be even better. But
So what zoom have you got on the Fold?
The digital 3X.
3. That was going to be a question I was going to ask you two.
A little bit lacking. Yeah.
Both having younger kids that, you might be, as you said, surfing, football matches. Do you tend to use the 5X and zooms that much? For me, it's not a camera length I hardly ever need to use. I love the 5X
for normal photos. Yeah. Product shots with 5X.
Portrait photos, product shots. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's something, because I talked about in the video I put up yesterday about, it's not something that I use an awful lot, but I think 5X is coming to both the other iPhones this year as well. The 16 and 16 Plus, I think, is getting 5X as well. Yeah.
So I downgraded myself in a roundabout way to the iPhone 15 Pro, not the Pro Max. I gave the Pro Max to my wife, and then
that's right.
I got an opportunity to get the Pro. So that's my teleprompter device, and also sometimes I do like a quick airdrop shot I missed in the recording. But I missed the 5X on the 15 Pro Max as well, because the Pro is only 3X.
Yeah.
So
I've got the 5X on here.
The 3X is probably going to be enough if you don't take a lot of photos. But for people who really like, people with kids and pets, or if you like landscape photography and things like that, the 5X is such a nice. It's just sometimes it's not the zoom that I care about. It's just the composition of just the look, really.
Well, talking about the look,
the background is really nice.
Because the video that I put up yesterday was my long-term review of the 15 Pro Max, and it's on that main camera, that 24, 28, 35. That makes it feel so camera-ish. You can get some, particularly if you go into square shots, using those different focal lengths, it can just look so gorgeous. It can look so camera-like, and that's almost one of the little forgotten tiny gems that, they gave us 7 focal lengths on that phone last year on the Pro Max, and okay, you could say that's overkill, but that 24, 28, 35 that's a lovely sweet spot. I love playing with those all the time.
Yeah, for people who enjoy like the feel of a pro camera, like, you know, they like to replicate some of that on the phone. Yeah, those are cool, right? Because you can, as a photographer, know what focal length to use for each situation. Like for portrait, you want to get close, like 50 mil would be better. So 35 would be great for those. So yeah, I think it's a nice feature for sure. But I think if you really want to get a smartphone that resembles a camera, then the Sony Xperia is such. Yeah. I mean, nothing comes close to that. That's amazing.
So we've kind of talked about Pixel. In our little group chat this week, we've been monitoring what's been going on with Pixel events, the non-attendees at Pixel events. Who's going to pick this up and run with it? Who's got the best lawyers? Go.
I'll start. I posted a couple of things. I'll start, and I think Daniel fill in the gaps. But, so I think, first of all, you know, Pixel for me is my audience. Yes, they want to know what I think about it. But if I look at it objectively as a business, right? Because let's face it, we want to make videos that will generate some attention from sponsors and potentially be, you know, green content, evergreen content that will help you grow the channel as well. I've done Pixel videos since the Pixel 6 Pro, and I love the device. And that was one of those things that, you know, like, okay, I'm glad I tried it, because everyone always talks about the Pixel since the Pixel 1, and I wanted to see what the first was all about. And enjoyed it, made the videos. But if I look back at return on investment, they really don't do a lot for my channel. You know, in total, I probably got maybe 1,000 subs in the last 4 years from those videos. And I've done enough. I've done a huge video last year. It was a massive effort. Like, took me a week to record and edit. You know, I did like drone shots and all sorts, you know, for that video. The result was there's just not enough global attention for that device. So I made a decision this year to do what I used to do, which was I'll buy it later. I'll buy maybe in January when things are a little bit quieter in the tech industry, and, you know, do a review then. But that in the tech creator industry, there was a compound issue this year in the UK specifically, and I'm not sure if that's true for other regions. And Daniel, maybe you can kind of help me with that, but in the UK, the PR agencies that they use, or PR agency they use, decided not to deal with UK creators. So there's a lot of noise that I'm hearing from other people. I was never on TeamPixel. And in fact, I made a fun hashtag a few years ago called Team Buy Your Own Pixel. And I'm running with that. I'm still in that team. But it was never a deterrent for me to go and review the device. You know, if I want to review something like I do today, I'll go and buy it, right? If the brand wants to send me stuff, like Samsung sent me the Ring, awesome, you know, and I'll do the best to kind of, you know, review it objectively and honestly. But yeah, so I saw then, I actually posted something about it before Mr. Who's the Boss posted, maybe 2 days before. And I said, I'm not doing anything on the Pixel. And I think it was another creator who said, you might be missing out just because they didn't send you a free thing. It's like, well, actually, no, it's a decision I'm making. Yeah, from a business
70% of the videos I make, I buy the gear for. Yeah,
yeah, and let's face it, in 2 weeks' time ish, there's the iPhone launch. There's videos that we're gonna make before that, and I know that my formula that works every year. So I'm gonna be really, really busy. Exactly. I'll be in Berlin for IFA this year, which would be cool to see lots of other brands in there. So I'm gonna be busy with other content. So to add the Pixel in there, just looking at what I did last year, which was huge, for the return that I got. So I can't do anything better than I did last year. The device itself, from what I'm hearing, hasn't really improved that much. So I have to so for me, it was a priority call. But then yesterday, was it yesterday? I saw Aaron from Mr. Who's the Boss posting a thing about, I think before I saw the actual tweet, I saw lots of people on all the WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups say, look at this clown. I was like, well, let's see what happened here. So he's basically complaining that he's assuming, this is my view, he's assuming that Google decided not to send him a Pixel or invite him to the event. Because it didn't,
he was less than favorable last year.
Favorable.
Yeah. Which is a point brought up in a pod a couple of weeks back, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did the internet love to take hold of that. It's like Twitter just took that, and it's kind of like something else you raised in our group chat, Alex, about how the Mr. Beast negative videos have sort of been sprouting. It's like when something becomes an issue, everyone comes out of the work and says that their experience has been the same. So people are saying, I said no to TeamPixel this year, and some people there's a leaked screenshot of a TeamPixel.
That screenshot is so damaging. Yeah,
it's damaging.
We've got to put that here on the pod. Yeah,
definitely we'll be putting that up, and it sort of loosely says that if you agree to become part of TeamPixel, and it's been clarified that TeamPixel is separate to the review units that get sent out. If you get a review unit, you're not expected to be like TeamPixel. You're just making a review. Whereas TeamPixel is, if you're on TeamPixel, it's like a PR brand promotion thing where you make positive content to be on TeamPixel. That's the difference.
Ultimately,
but that sort of stuff
is the brand, right? And they should be in control of whatever TeamPixel is doing. But yeah, I definitely get the point that it's not really directly Google.
Yeah,
it's like saying
Google would be aware.
Galaxy
Google
AI is Samsung. You
know? Google would sign off on that campaign before they send it live. It's absolutely like Google are aware. People are saying, "Oh, it's the PR company. Can't blame Google." Absolutely,
no way.
Google would know 100% what that campaign is.
They'll have the final say so. Yeah,
and what's being sent off before to go to the creators. But it's not what Mr. Who's the Boss is complaining about. That TeamPixel stuff is like almost a separate issue. It's just now come to light off the back of what Mr. Who's the Boss has been saying, because people are trying to piggyback off whether they want clout or engagement. Some people are doing it for genuine reasons. Some people, I believe, are doing it just because it's trending. But the thing that got me with Mr. Who's the Boss's post, is that he gets through all of it. He says that he was critical of last gen, and he goes, but that's not a reason I shouldn't get a review unit. The last line is, made by Google, can you help please? So rather than going to them, because I'm sure he's got contacts, like he's probably got an email address that he can reach out or a phone number.
Well, he said he reached out to several, didn't he?
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't say that he's tried to reach it.
I thought at the beginning
he did.
Yeah,
he did say it. Sorry, he did. And look, one day is not enough time to let your contacts get back to you, to go and jump straight onto Twitter and outing them. And in some ways, outing yourself as like, oh, I've got 20 million subscribers. Where's my free phone? And
how much do you want to bet next year he will get a Pixel? He will be he'll be probably on outdoor displays and all sorts.
It depends if Pixel like his target market. I saw a tweet where someone compared like his Apple iPhone 15 video where the thumbnail was suspiciously good. And the iPhone 15 it's a terrible phone. Like for the price and the value that you're paying, you do not get the money that you've spent. I'm sorry, but you don't. Because the 15 is definitely just a phone that Apple know that people will buy because it's got the Apple logo on it. 15 Pro and Pro Max, different story. Whereas his Pixel video was just very, very negatively geared. And I can understand maybe where Google's thinking is they don't want that video, where it's probably going to be a negatively geared video again, out before people are making the decisions about buying a Pixel before the iPhone launch comes out. So I can understand Google's like rationale behind it, but it's not a very good optics. Like you just need to trust that your product is good enough and that someone will sort of see through if someone's just being unfair rather than just not giving them the opportunity to review it.
Yeah. There's enough evidence in there that, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the good creators, it's never that they're going to come on and say that everything's bad with the product at all. I mean, if you're halfway good at your job, everything's going to have good and bad. And surely you choose who you want to watch, particularly if you are thinking of buying one of those devices. You're going to watch people that you actually trust to think, yeah, okay, the cameras this year have got a good improvement, but the battery's crap, you know. Exactly. They should take that as positive feedback. If somebody's using it in the real world, he's used it for a week, 10 days, and has actually got some decent time spent with it, can give some honest feedback. That as a consumer is what you want to know. Surely that as a brand is what you want to know as well, I'd have thought.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of respect Aaron in that sense, that he was brave enough to criticize Google. But on the other hand, and he's, you know, we all make mistakes. I'm pretty sure I've made a lot of mistakes in my YouTube work, but there's something that I don't like, which and I kind of lost some of my interest / trust in his videos when I was watching, and I would say this to his face if I ever meet him, but it's like when he did that thing in Apple Park with Marquez, and he did an Android versus Apple, and it was so clearly biased. It was painful to watch, even for someone who at the time actually liked Apple more than I do now. So that there's a different aspect of how I was watching that video then. But even I was like, oh my gosh, that's I know where you're going with this. You are inside the building, so you can't really shit on them. But at the same time, it's like I would rather say, sorry guys, I know what you're trying to do here, getting me to sanction what you're doing, but I'm like, that's just not true. And if you look at the comments in that video, yeah, a lot of his viewers were like, this is just not right, to say things like Apple is the greenest company and whatever, and count that as a thing, like towards a phone. So I think I lost some credibility in there, but on the fact that he made criticism about a brand, I love that. I love the fact that he did that, and I think it's it's commendable, and he should be doing that more. But the fact that there was a screenshot shared that says, if you say that you will favor another brand whilst working with TeamPixel, we're gonna seize the relationship. Like, oh my gosh, that's really. So this is where I get a little bit frustrated with the tech creator industry in general, and I'm usually a positive, happy-go-lucky sort of guy. But this sort of stuff really pisses me off, because it's like Insta360, a much smaller Chinese brand, made a mistake, right? Early this year, and told creators through a person, right? It might just be a one-person issue, might be a team issue inside the brand, but they told the creator or several creators, can you not mention that you're being sponsored? Can you not just make any mention at all? Which is completely wrong and like deceitful towards YouTube's terms and conditions. It's putting the creator at risk by saying that, because if the creator says yes, you're basically breaking the law in some countries, right? Because you're not saying you're sponsored, is like, and you received money, like that's wrong. FCA will be all over it. But so many creators, big creators, came out and boycotting Insta360 and saying, how wrong it was of them. But what Google just did is, if not, it's the same, if not worse. And I'm like, where are those massive creators now to say, and I know why, right? This is Google, which is ultimately YouTube. So people don't dare say anything. And I'm always saying, what I think, but I'm nobody. If there's I'd love to see a big creator to go, Google, this is screwed up, and hopefully they will. But it's very. If I can
stick up for Google just for a second, or maybe not stick up, maybe just offer a bit more context, potentially a counterpoint that other people might make. That screenshot potentially could have been when they're engaging a creator they want to have on contract. So whether that be an Instagram influencer, yeah. All right, there might be more stuff that's part of that sort of agreement, whereas it could be a financial element where they're going to be given money for their services to provide content.
The wording is so bad.
It's the wording, but I think as well, just to use the Samsung as an example, if there's a paid content creator that's contracted to Samsung, it'll be stipulated that in their content, they can't be seen to be using iPhones, purely because
I think in the same video,
part of it, they've been given, they've been given a phone, and also they're getting paid to make content. Like Samsung are providing them financial restitution for that content to be made. And the Instagram stuff, you have to put paid promotion with Samsung, for example. That stuff is stipulated in the contract, but it's very much obvious. But TeamPixel has never really been like that. TeamPixel has been, we're going to give you some free phones and goodies throughout the year. It doesn't seem like there's ever been
just to generate some brand awareness.
Hands, right. Yeah. So unless you're talking about that famous basketballer, what's his name in America, the Greek guy? He's TeamPixel.
LeBron James? I don't know.
No, Gianno something. He's a Greek basketballer in the NBA. He's on TeamPixel, but he would be on mega millions of dollars. And if he is using an iPhone in the street, he's breaking contract and his contract will be torn up. So like there's that level of TeamPixel, but I think the TeamPixel that's being spoken about here is the creators like at our level that are just being gifted free phones if we launch or goodie packs.
It's like the old Twitter, right? When you used to say send from an Android or send from iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, I think ultimately comes down to the integrity of the person being paid. If I'm being paid by a brand and I'm personally using another brand, I'm going to have to disclose that somewhere. There's no way I'd agree to say, like, if you're paying me to produce a video to make a review about your product, obviously I'm not going to talk about, maybe I'll mention it as a comparison, but I'm not going to promote another product because I'm being paid. Right. That's just basic advertising. But to extend that into a, like, by the way, whilst you're working with us, you can't show preference towards other brands. That's just, to me, that's just wrong in so many levels. Even if Google are paying me, I'm allowed to like something else, right? It's like So anyway, that's probably why they never reached out.
I think Google would probably be doing themselves a disservice. My phone just went off. If they were to try and engage with like tech content creators that do review multiple products and multiple brands, because like they're just going to nerf their own channel by doing that. Whereas if they engage like a lifestyle influencer, someone who doesn't really care about
what they're doing now, yeah.
Which is right. That's pretty much like where the next level of influencer is for phones, is people who are just integrating it into their real lives. Then I think they can not dictate, but I think it depends on the terms of the contract. If it's like a 12-month thing, like whilst you're being paid for us for this 12-month period, here's our expectations. I think there is a way that you can say to them, like, whilst you've been paid for us for this 12 months, it's almost like you're an employee in the sense, like you become an employee for that brand. But I think if this sort of screenshot is coming from a tech creator and to the TeamPixel level where there's no money being changed hands, which it looks like it is, then yeah, Google have got some answering to do, or at least the PR company that they're engaged with need to come out and clarify what this is, because it's
do wonder,
the optics
Samsung,
are bad. The optics are really bad.
I was just looking at Sydney Sweeney, right, who Samsung probably paid. I mean, highly likely
100%.
paid.
She would be
to attend Paris, right? And she's an amazing. Is she an actress as well as a model? I don't know, but yeah, she's in movies. So I'd love to see, is she really using a Samsung Galaxy every day, or she's been told like you mustn't be seen using an iPhone. But
probably she wouldn't. She might not risk it. Like if she's getting paid that much money, she probably would use the Flip 6 as her, because she puts lots of Instagram stories.
There's a photo of her with the Eiffel Tower holding a Flip 6.
Yeah, she's part of the promotional branding and everything like that. Like, perfect example is Mary Fowler, who's a Australian Matilda, plays for Manchester City in the Women's Super League in England. She just got engaged by Samsung Australia, and she was walking around with her boyfriend in Australia with an S24 Ultra in her hand. Like, not promoting the brand, like that was like paparazzi. So I think they do use
style,
it if they are. Like paparazzi caught her walking the streets into a doctor's office or something. So I think they do, because I think the money that's changing hands is too risky.
It's almost like
not using it.
A tennis player, right? After they win the match, they put their watch and it's whatever, Rolex or whatever.
Every time,
it's almost like if you're being paid by Rolex to do that, you must. That's one of those things you say. You must, if you at the interview section, you need to be wearing this watch. And I've seen some players do that with their boots, right? Football players do that with their boots. It's like if you're gonna wear different boots, and some of them have a problem with their engagement, and they start like putting black tape over the branding. I've seen that before, but I don't know with the tech companies and creators. I just think it's a little bit wrong, because ultimately you got to think about the end customer, and the end customer wants a genuine review. it's just damaging for the creator industry in general, I think, because if you're encouraging that behavior where you're only going to be favorable, then what is a review these days, right? Is anyone ever going to say anything bad if everyone just goes into that, you mustn't say anything wrong about the brand?
I think there's a little bit that there's an air of responsibility in what we do, because we buy something, given whatever, we get units that we're using. A lot of people watching these videos, it's the only phone they're going to use or buy for the next 3 years. And to help them make an informed decision correctly is surely part of what we should be doing. That's kind of the way I see it. So even if you are one of those high level...
Yeah, there's a responsibility. And I think I'd say even looking inwardly, like sometimes, before you criticize, you got to look, am I doing the right thing? I think my reviews are not as good as they used to be because of the sheer volume of devices that I look at. And I don't look at everything. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to do what Marquez and those guys do, because it's like there's a new phone every month, at least one new phone. And, you can't possibly use those things like a normal person would. And I try to, but even I struggle because it's like, there's a foldable, and I barely got used to last year's version, right, before a new one comes out. So I think it's, as a viewer, it's becoming harder and harder to find genuine, honest reviews. And it's,
And even the point you're making there, Daniel, that, sort of Marquez, massive fan of his. I've always said I am. As much as the fact he's got a team, you'll know because of the quality of the in-depth videos that you make, those teardowns, and nothing beats hours and days and weeks spent actually using it. Even if you've got a team behind you reporting to you, it's not, it comes across as disingenuous because you can tell that person hasn't genuinely used it in a day-to-day situation.
No, the formula is let's film around the studio, let's film in the car park, because they're limited on time. So you can tell that that's what they're doing. But in that limitation, they cover it with high production, right? And definitely some good information in there that his team got through research. So that definitely comes through. But as you say, taking the phone out and using it for weeks and weeks, properly using it as your sole thing, you will find much better.
And that comes through. That comes through. To say that when you find somebody that you can really trust in, that's what's happening. They're genuinely using it, and it just comes through. So we're running good and long on this one, which is not a problem. But there was one other area that we may want to touch on while we're dodging bullets.
There's no limit on this, right? We can do a 3-hour podcast.
No, I'll pay for the full. Yeah, we can. I'll pay for the full extended version.
I do have to go to watch Minions later, so as long as I make that, I'm fine.
No, we're fine. Let's briefly then touch on these stories that have been coming out. Well, Alex, you already nodding. You know where I'm heading with this.
Yes.
Mr. Beast. And the ramifications that these allegations and stories, not so much for him, I think his tidy penny and pad is made. It strikes me that if the broader brushstroke of this is that advertisers and brands feel that some of these main videos that are going out, the whole brand of YouTube is being denatured, the trust that goes with it, I don't know. That's kind of, I don't think we necessarily need to go into talking about if these stories, and it's, we can talk, they're out there online, easy enough to watch on YouTube. I was watching just before we started recording, and some of the stories that are coming out are, I don't know if it's that we are in the business so we don't find it that shocking, but they're certainly damaging. Yeah, I mean, we all know that stuff goes on, we get to hear gossip and stuff that goes on, but, he's made a whole brand, a whole lifestyle, a whole channel out of believing that he's giving this money away and setting these things up, and then you get the teardown, and that's got to have bad effects for YouTube, hasn't it? It's got to.
It does, and I think, look, I've been following this for some time. My son is in the target audience, right? So we've been watching his videos for a long time, and I followed him as a person as well. I mean, he went in and a few interviews. I think he did Joe Rogan. He did. Colin and Samir in our more closer to our space. And I love all the insights that he shared about YouTube. I mean, he's the face, he's the golden boy of YouTube, right? And you can, there's a side of me that thinks, how much is it, that his videos are that good versus how much YouTube just really promotes his channel. But I think
he's the face off.
you can't really take away from the guy, right? He's investing in the videos like no one else does. He engaged with Amazon recently to do something even bigger, which I don't know if that's ever going to come out now.
Yeah.
Like a Mr. Beast Games, I think it's called, and it's got like hundreds of millions of dollars in that. But anyway, the situation started, I think, with one of his friends who transitioned. Chris Tyson, I think was his name, moved to transition now called Ava Tyson. And there was some controversy about some old messages. Don't know how many years ago it was, but it was when Chris was, before this transition, was inappropriately talking to minors. And it kind of, like Daniel said earlier, right? That one thing blew up into something else, and then people started coming up with, ex-employees started to come through with stories about how allegedly he stole their content, allegedly he's faking the videos to an extent where it's becoming illegal.
That's what I've been watching.
And then the employee handbook came out, which for me is the one that was like, okay, that does tell a bigger picture here. But in his defense, sort of like, right, the guy knows nothing else. That's all he's done all his life, is how to get engagement and views. That's what he's all about. So maybe he's just haven't been exposed to corporate world, and a little bit like Linus in a way, right, in the tech space. That I think his recent issue was when he got hacked, and then there was an issue with quality, and and eventually, well, we're so big now that we became a corporation, and therefore we need to have policies, principles, all the good stuff that companies have to do. And I think Mr. Beast is probably that space. He grew so hugely that no one ever looked into, okay, how is this company run? And it turns out it's a bit of a maverick the way he's running. If this is all true and that is a genuine document that people have to read before they join, I mean, you can go online and like I said, and find out. But one of the things it said in there is, no does not mean no. I was like, oh my God. You wrote that down. And when you read through, it's basically, you have to do everything you can, including bribe, including like psychological pressure to get the video. So you have to do whatever and work extra hours. That's also sort of wrong, like bad HR all over. But yeah, so I think he's in trouble. There's obviously some PR exercise happening right now. They're deleting comments. You can go into his latest videos and every now and then you see like a comment in Japanese or Chinese saying, go watch, I think his dog pack video, dog pack 404 or something, that made like one of the ex-employees. So, and they're busy deleting stuff. There's an ex-employee who was a criminal. It's like, it's really, really terrible. Don't know how he comes back from this.
So this dog pack that you bring up, I'm glad you mentioned it. This guy worked for Mr. Beast for like all of 30 days earlier this year.
Yeah.
And all of his videos that he references as being illegal, like illegal lotteries, he was never
before his time.
It was like 4 years ago, I think 2020. I watched, I don't know if you guys have heard of Legal Eagle. He's a pretty big YouTuber that talks about lawyer stuff. I watched his video breaking down the illegal lottery stuff. And from what like he sort of said was that there's no real clear evidence that Mr. Beast was sort of conducting an illegal lottery, like intentionally. Like it was about signed shirts. That was pretty much the extent of what this dog pack was talking about. Oh, it's signed shirts. Like, and he's done this illegal lottery. And to what he said, it's the only time he did it. It's probably after that he's Mr. Beast realized, shit, I probably need to fine tune this. And he hasn't done anything like that since. He's definitely got everything fine tuned. I feel like since that Ava stuff happened, like people have wanted to take Mr. Beast down forever. People have said
it's
when
the
he does
cancel
charity
culture
stuff,
coming through, isn't it, again?
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, how disgusting. Mr. Beast goes in and thinks this white savior complex into these poor cities and builds them homes and running water. Like, let their governments do that. Like, this guy is investing his own money in this. So I feel like there's been a narrative of bringing him down for a while.
There's so much good stuff that he's done there, yeah.
As soon as something happens that he didn't do, like he's not Ava. He didn't write those messages. And you can say he was aware of it. You can say that he knew what was happening. But at the end of the day, he didn't physically do it. And he's dealt with it. Like, that person no longer works for him. And then all the other stuff, this dog pack that worked there 30 days, it just smacks of clout chasing, like making things worse than potentially what they are. And I'm not sticking up for Mr. Beast. I've worked in toxic cultures before. I know that they're awful places to work in. But like, at some level, with the level of his produces his videos, you know what you're getting into in a way with that type of environment. It's going to be working long hours. You're going to have to do things that make you uncomfortable potentially.
Yeah.
Like, you have to either be okay with it or not be there.
Yeah, actually, it says that. Yeah, it's like if there's A players, B players, and C players, and C players shouldn't be here. It's like, oh my god, B players can be improved to A players. Like, Jesus. But anyway,
it's probably
it's an interesting point, right?
Don't doubt
it. Yeah, and he's not hiding that. He says that in every interview that he watches. Like, he's obsessed. But I think, he's almost like a victim of his own success, right? Because all these videos coming out talking about him are getting a lot of views because it is him, and because it's like, I mean, if you look at the scale of interest that another YouTuber, he's a gamer called Dr. Disrespect, very similar situation. He got a lot of noise, got a lot of issues, but nothing close to this. I mean, if you watch one of those videos, your entire feed then becomes, and there's so many people, so there are channels being created just to talk about the downfall of Mr. Beast. Like, it's almost like the very thing that he sort of professes about being retention aware and getting lots of views is damaging his whole situation right now.
But you mentioned Linus a moment ago. I mean, he went through this about a year ago, didn't he? Everyone was saying, can Linus come back from this? And, he tightened up his whole procedures with it. And it's the business side of it, the corporate side.
It's the growing up from a startup to a corporation.
Yeah. Creators, when they suddenly get to that size, they are becoming corporations. And I stand by the fact that, I think in time we're going to see some of these big channels being bought out by studios. Netflix could come along and buy out one of these and have it running as a weekly series or whatever, because they're becoming such big businesses.
Mine is not for sale, by the way.
Your camera's gone. Well, I think we're almost kind of about done, actually. We've been talking that long. We've worn out Daniel's camera. That's how long we've been talking. And what's your next video going to be, Alex? I saw you put on yesterday, didn't you? It's not in my hands, which is weird. I've actually produced 3 videos this week. One has gone out, which was the ring, and the other 2 are out there for fine tuning on approvals. Yeah, so there's one about AliExpress, which is a brand that does like online shopping. It's a dedicated video, so you can tell where that's going to go. And the other one is an exciting one, which is behind me. It's this LG monitor. So it's not a sponsored one, but I've been asked not to upload until a certain date. So right, yeah. Well, potentially my next one could be my first ever dedicated video. We've agreed it's all ready to go. I've just got to sit down and actually begin using the product and using it and getting used to it. And then, of course, as we were mentioning just before we started recording, I suddenly realised, normally I send my sponsors content off at the beginning of the week thinking, right, you've got 3, 4, 5 days to prove it. If there's any dicking around, I can get that corrected and carry on my main video, drop it in. But, of course, I suddenly realised with a dedicated video, you're kind of screwed because you're spending all week making one video and they've asked to see the script and the full video. Fair enough. But of course, if they don't like it, I can't post. I won't have a video that week.
I think it's something that, we can probably discuss this in our next spot. And how do we deal with this? Because obviously it's something that we creators, especially our size and smaller creators, have to do to make, like, if I want to buy a new iPhone next month, I need to be able to fund it, pay for the studio rent and all this stuff. So dedicated videos is very much a way of funding it. But it's how do we find the balance between not just being shills and accepting everything, and being able to still fund this, and so finding things that are interesting enough that, at least from my perspective, are worth making a video about, versus just turning yourself into a telesales channel, you know.
Well, I will wrap this pod up by saying my integrity I felt is held high. I came out of that Apple event yesterday and there was an email saying, we'd love you to make a dedicated video about our shit little AirPod, whatever they are, earphones. And we've got $200 to give you to make a dedicated 8-minute video. Okay. I think we can go. Yeah, really. Thank you. I might not have millions of viewers, but I'm worth more than $200.
There will be, I think we mentioned this before, there will be opportunities for you to work with brands for no money that will be more worthwhile than receiving cash.
Premium brands, of course, there's difference there, but yeah. Boys, we did well. And we didn't have any technical glitches. A tiny little camera, but we did good. I've just got to find time to edit this now. That's the scary thing.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you for everyone subscribing, by the way.
Yes, it's still going good guns. We are. I think people quite liking, and people are understanding we're doing something different. We're not just coming on talking about product, because we're making videos about that. We're actually giving thoughts, opinions, behind the scenes stuff, and we're talking. And what has come through in a lot of the comments is people love our honesty and that it's not scripted. And we must have spent all about 5 or 6 minutes beforehand saying, okay, we'll do it in this order. We kind of had a look at what the messages that were going on. We haven't even yet got a document that we can throw ideas at, which is our next high-tech thing we're going to do. But this is honestly as genuine as it gets. We get together, we talk and message a little bit during the 2 weeks apart. We've got an idea, then we just get together and our 3 brains just begin fizzing.
Just about.
It's all up there.
Just about.
Yeah. Star quality.
Thank you so
voice.
much for subscribing, guys. And we'll. The other thing we need to do is bring guests. Right? I think it would be good to have 1 or 2 guests to mix things up a little bit.
Daniel, is that guy that you were Mr. Jobs or Steve Jobs? Who was that?
Samuel. So Samuel. He does some charity documentary thing that he does every year with his wife. When he gets back from that in September, he said he wants to come on. So
perfect, good stuff. Yeah,
so
we can fit 4 on screen. We can do that.
Who mentioned he'd like to come on. So
yes. We'll reach out.
RJ Tech in our creative space.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get him on. Yeah, nice one. Okay, boys. I hope you have a lovely rest of Friday, weekend, and all that stuff. Yes, signing out. -16. We're back in 2 weeks' time.
See you weekend, boys. Cheers.